Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'm going to start it off in Romans chapter 8, verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature, and a creature, it's just short for creation. So everything out here, including us, is a creation or a creature. But for the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. And the sons of God are, of course, the children of Israel. But the true children of Israel aren't those small hats over in the Holy Land right now who are Edomites or so-called white people, specifically of the tribe of Amalek. The true children of Israel are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And as it says, the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God, because when the children of Israel are back in rulership, beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel, this earth is going to be governed under the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures, which is the only right way to, govern the environment, govern people, and just to have a governmental body in general. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath hope subjected the same, Slakia, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. And what this is talking about is those creatures being subject to vanity are, the children of Israel, beginning with Adam having their fall, Eve taking on the philosophies of the serpent, which was a man. It wasn't a literal snake. It was the progenitor to the sons of the wicked, who are known today as the Edomites. Again, these so-called white people. We had our fall. We were subject to vanity, which, let's get that word vanity. It's G3153, Ma'ate I'll let Esau say it.
Strong's G3153, Matayates. Matayates.
Matayates. Not too far off from it, but in the outline of biblical usage, what is devoid of truth and appropriateness, perverseness, depravity, and that philosophy that the serpent brought unto Eve and Eve brought unto Adam, which led to our fall, was what? The philosophies that you see today, this do as thou wilt spirit, as the serpent told Eve, hey, are ye not gods? And what? Feminism, because, by him coming to Eve and not Adam, and then, subverting Eve's, mind to follow after the ways of another man instead of her own man. That's what you see today. These women in that proud, independent spirit, just all the things you see today, which are completely contrary to the ways of righteousness, which are contained in the laws, statutes, and commandments. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. Though we had our fall and we learned evil, and now we have a knowledge of evil. And now the children of Israel, beginning with the elect that are coming back to their power, we're regaining that knowledge of righteousness, which is going to make us perfect judges in the kingdom of heaven to know both good and evil. And we have hope in that when we read these scriptures, and it says that this current wicked period we're living in has an end point, and the next point to come is the kingdom of heaven, which will be an eternal kingdom of righteousness. Verse 21, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption, this current, wicked way of life we're living in under the wicked, into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High, beginning with the elect, through then, trickling down to the nation of Israel when they're reborn righteous into the kingdom, and then the creation as a whole. Because when Israel is back on top, when the righteous beareth rule, governing under the laws, statutes, and commandments, this corrupt way of life is going to be a thing of the past. Over, verse 22, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And we can clearly see that this planet and all the, organisms that are on it are in a state of pain and chaos right now because the wicked are bearing rule. Again, the wicked being the biblical Edomites who do everything clean contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Hence why you've got chemtrails, pollution in the ocean, GMO foods. What else? Cell and Wi-Fi radiation, along with those GMO foods giving people cancer, strip mining lands for their resources. And as we're about to go into in this video, with my first article on liveright.world, salmon caught near Seattle full of cocaine, antidepressants, and other drugs. The creatures out here, the animals suffering under the wicked rulership of these Edomites. Because at one point in history, under these, different rulerships, did salmon have their systems full of cocaine, antidepressants, and other drugs under no other captivity, any other kingdom, but under the kingdom of the wicked, the biblical Edomites. Again, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And also, I've read articles saying that, turtles in the Pacific have been found with, what was it? I think it was one of those STD drugs. I think, turtles were found with herpes. And then, you've got sharks that have been getting addicted to cocaine because a lot of those drops that those cartels do, drop them into the ocean, and the sharks have been finding them and getting into it. Hey, this is all just a byproduct of the wicked Esau Edom being in rulership. Now even salmon are high off of cocaine and on antidepressants and other drugs. Just complete madness. But again, this is what happens when the wicked are in authority. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the sons of God, the children of Israel, the people rejoice because the planet will be governed under the laws, statutes, and commandments. There's going to be no cocaine or antidepressants or pesticides or GMO foods or feminism or democracy. Everything is going to be completely by the book, and the world is going to flourish because of it. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And hey, this is what you get when the wicked beareth rule. But let's get into it. At this point in modern society, and who's the ruler in so-called modern society? Esau Edom. When our food is regularly pumped full of antibiotics and hormones, it's no surprise to find fish with drugs inside of them. However, the type of drugs that were found in wild salmon caught near Seattle may be enough to surprise you. According to a paper published in the international journal Environmental Pollution, salmon caught in the United States near Seattle contained traces of over 81 different types of drugs, including many illegal narcotics, stimulants, and other classes of drugs. All a byproduct of Esau Edom's system. The average person is so depressed and bugged out here that they're on antidepressants and, other prescription medication, which a lot of that shit is derived from what? Petroleum. Just look up how the Rockefellers took over the medical industry, and it went from, a homeopathic, herbal-based medicines to these petroleum-based medicines that we have now. Some of the more significant drugs found in the tissue of these salmon included cocaine, antidepressants, Oxycontin, nicotine, as well as caffeine, Tylenol, and Valium. Researchers believe that these accumulation of drugs in the salmon is a result of personal waste being thrown into the water. This is not the first time that salmon was found to contain traces of unpleasant and possible harmful substances. And hey, it's all a vicious cycle. These people take these antidepressants and medications and other drugs out here, goes into the wastewater, the marine life consumes it and becomes messed up. And then those same fish get caught and sent to your grocery stores, your restaurants. You consume it, and those side effects get back into you. What does they say? You are what you eat. This is not the first time that salmon was found to contain traces of unpleasant and possibly harmful substances. In 2004, it was discovered that Atlantic salmon farmed in Scotland had the highest levels of cancer-causing chemicals in the world. Salmon products were also recalled from supermarkets in 2008 due to concerns that they were contaminated with diesel. Experts believe that this diesel contamination was caused from the vehicle transporting the salmon to a processing plant. Just complete madness. But hey, this is what happens when the wicked beareth rule. The earth is destroyed under their rulership. And that's all Esau Edom was created to do, was to bring destruction to the planet Earth. Real quick, this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And, this is talking about the so-called 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which were just symbolic for different events that would be taking place in the last days, which we're currently living in. And there went out another horse that was red, and horse in the scriptures is symbolic for power. And what does it say in Genesis chapter 25? That Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment because they are clean lepers. They don't have melanin in their skin, so their blood shoots forth through their skin. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And, ever since this Edomite came into, this little season of his final rulership, beginning with the Renaissance, for these 500 plus years or so, what have we seen? Just wickedness reigning prevalent and peace being taken from the earth. All these drugs and narcotics and destructive substances out here, lands, getting strip mined for their resources, this factory, corporation, agricultural system, that just doesn't allow the land to rest. And they constantly, are cultivating, which takes the nutrients out of the land, which in turn, what do they have to do? Use these harmful, chemicals to, continue the production. The list just goes on and on. And a funny thing is when you look up America, and it's, y'all can correct me on this. I think America's around, let me see. 300 or so years of its existence. I think only about around 20 years of America's existence, no wars took place. Other than that, wars have constantly been taking place in the United States. Well, the United States of America has constantly been waging wars, taking peace from the earth. And outside of America, look at these different European powers. They, how did they, gain their rulerships? Going to these different lands, colonizing them, rape, robbing, and murdering the local populations, and, setting up governments that were beneficial to the Europeans while oppressed the local peoples. And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, to take peace from the earth. And when you go to Genesis chapter 27, one of Esau's blessings was the sword, as well as the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. And what does it say in Job chapter 9, verse 24? That the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, which it has for this little season. And that sword doesn't just go into Esau's guns and military might. It can go into, his policies, his pharmaceuticals, his ideologies like democracy, feminism, capitalism, socialism, communism, all that, which has been used to take peace from the earth and, just keep these people in a low, docile, dumbed down state to where when you see information like this come out, people just are just like, well, that's just life. There's nothing I can do about it. Complete madness. But Now I'm going to go to my second article on today.com. These fruits and vegetables have the highest risk of pesticide residue, Consumer Report says. The organization advises limiting this produce, but a dietitian says eating any fruits and vegetables is better than avoiding them due to pesticide concerns. And why don't we just not have pesticides on these fruits and vegetables to begin with? Hey, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And for you assholes out here that say, well, then the whole world's going to starve if we don't use these pesticides and agro farming. Well, hey, what happened to people having their own, lands and farms to grow their own fruits and vegetables instead of outlawing it, pushing these people into these concrete jungles, and then in America under the NDAA, labeling people as domestic terrorists for growing their own gardens. This Edomite, this devil, the wicked, wants these people fully dependent upon him. Several popular fruits and vegetables, including blueberries, bell peppers, and green beans, have traces of harmful pesticides that could affect a person's health, Consumer Reports warns in a new analysis released on Thursday. The nonprofit organization looked at 7 years of pesticides residue testing results for 59 types of products from the U.S. Department of Agriculture and concluded pesticides pose significant risks in 20% of the foods it reviewed. These risks are present for certain groups, like children and pregnant women, even when as little as half of or one serving is consumed. And only in this society under the wicked would this information be publicly available and nothing is done about it. It just these poisonous products just continue to go to the stores. But, the EPA, these different organizations, are all bought and paid for. But everyone should limit their intake of these fruits and vegetables, Consumer Report advises. So what else should people eat? These meats, chickens and fishes that are filled with cocaine, antidepressants, and antibiotics. The Alliance for Food and Farming, which represents farmers of fruits and vegetables, points out that more than 99% of foods tested by the government in 2022, if it's 99%, you might as well say 100%. The most recent year for which information is available had residues below the limits established by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. More than a quarter, 27%, had no detectable residue. Consumer Reports say those EPA limits don't go far enough. We believe that the limits should be lower to be more protective, James Rogers, PhD Director of Food Safety Research and Testing at Consumer Reports, tells Today.com. Those are levels that were set in the past, and they should be re-examined to see if they're accurate, which they're not accurate. Just look at how they calculate inflation now. If we calculated inflation as it was calculated back in the 80s, we would be in a depression. But Esau likes to play with the numbers to make everything look copacetic. But jump down, hit the main points in it. Are pesticides on produce harmful? To come up with its risk ratings, Consumer Reports considered how many pesticides were found in each food, how often they showed up, the amount detected, and how toxic each chemical was. More than 800 pesticides, chemicals to kill insects or control fungi, are used in the U.S., some of which may pose risks for a variety of health problems, according to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. And, with them constantly using these pesticides, this fungus and these insects become immune to it. So in turn, they have to come out with even more powerful and toxic pesticides to kill them. Again, it's all just a never-ending, vicious circle. Studies have linked pesticides to risk for Parkinson's disease, thyroid disease, diabetes, kidney disease, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, and shingles, the agency notes. Children are particularly susceptible to these adverse effects. And whenever you see these commercials for medications to take, more often than not, it's always about these diseases that we just read in that paragraph. So the foods we eat get us sick, so we can in turn go to where these physicians of no value, as it says in Job, to get petroleum-based toxic medications, which in turn, you shit and piss that out. Salmon and other wildlife eat it. They get all jacked up. Then you eat that, and it's right back in you. Again, a vicious circle under the wicked. Now we're going to see what fruits and vegetables are at risk. Fruits with risky pesticides. The following fruits were of most concern for Consumer Reports. Blueberries. About 20% of domestic, conventionally grown samples had residue of phosphate, a pesticide that the EPA considers a particular risk to children, Consumer Reports says. It's in organophosphate class of chemicals. Conventional frozen blueberries also posed a very high risk, the organization says. And just think about it. How a lot of these children growing up now, they're frail, they're smaller, they're weaker, and they've got all these adverse health effects. Watermelon. About 3% of domestic, conventionally grown samples tested positive for oxamiol, the same chemical found on peppers, at levels far above what Consumer Reports consider safe. Now, vegetables with risky pesticides. Bell peppers. Almost half of all domestic, conventionally grown samples tested positive for oxyamyl, part of the carbamates class of chemicals, or its breakdown product, oxyamyl oxime, according to Consumer Reports. The organization warns oxyamyl has potential for serious health risks. Potatoes. Almost all domestic, conventionally grown samples have had residue of chloropropham, another carbamate pesticide, Consumer Reports says. Organic potatoes also showed some contamination. Green beans. About 4% of domestic, conventionally grown samples had residue of acephate, or one of its breakdown products, methimidofos, even though the EPA banned acephate for use on the vegetable in 2011, Consumer Reports says. So even though it was banned in 2011, it's still being found in some potatoes. Again, these different organizations are bought and paid for. Kale and mustard greens. Samples of these vegetables grown conventionally in the U.S. sometimes contained a mix of pesticides, Consumer Reports says. Let's see what this article. But hey, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And the earnest expectation of the creature is the manifestation of the sons of God. And until now, the whole creation groaneth in pain. Let's get back to these precepts. This is Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. And when you go into that word languisheth in the Strongs, it's H535, amal, to be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted, to be or grow feeble, which is exactly what we see under the rulership of the wicked. The haughty people of the earth do languish. These proud people out here are languishing. Esau, Edom, who's the ultimate prideful man out there, and these other nations of people, including the wicked of our people that follow after him and take on that same haughty, prideful spirit. Everybody is languishing under his rulership. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken, the everlasting covenant. Esau, Edom, does everything clean contrary to the laws, statutes, and commandments. He wants to be God himself and thinks he can, use his pseudoscience and technology to make life, better. Was it saying 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, the man of sin, the son of perdition, who wants to sit in the seat of the Most High and sheweth himself as the Most High. Esau, Edom wants to be in control of growing the food. Hence why you got a lot of these fruits and vegetables that grow without seeds out here year round. He wants to control the weather with a HAARP and the Doppler radar. He wants to control people's minds with his different philosophies, and the earth and everything on it is suffering because of it. And one law that Esau, Edom is definitely guilty of breaking is the land Sabbath. For every bit of land out here that is cultivated, for fruits and vegetables, you're only supposed to work it for 6 years, and then on the 7th year, give it a rest. So whatever grows during that 7th year grows up, it dies, and then when it breaks down, it puts nutrients back into the land. So when it's cultivated again, that nutrients is back in it. But Esau, Edom farms these lands years round. So what? These lands have less nutrients in it. So he has to put these pesticides and other agri-farm chemicals to, get these vegetables and fruits to keep growing, which fills these people and these animals with these dire health, effects. Again, it's all a vicious circle under the wicked. And if this man were allowed to rule indefinitely, no flesh would be saved, as it says in Matthew chapter 24. But as it also says in Matthew chapter 24, the days shall be shortened for the elect's sake. And we can see that these days are speeding up and these prophecies are speeding up. And we are almost out of the rulership of Esau, Edom, when the righteous will be back in authority, the manifestation of the sons of God ruling this planet the right way. But where do I want to go? I'll go to Isaiah chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 5. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, the border of wickedness in Malachi 1 verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9 verse 24, Esau, Edom, and the scepter of the rulers, Esau, Edom, losing his grip over this world. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Starting these wars to overthrow sovereign leaders so he can set up puppets that will allow him to steal that place's resources, dropping atomic bombs on people. What else? We could be here for days talking about Esau, Edom's wickedness. Chemtrails, GMO foods, toxic pesticides on fruits and vegetables, cocaine and antidepressants, getting into the marine life. The list goes on and on. But as it says, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. When this devil is taken out of power, hey, nobody's going to mourn you. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, because when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. While all the heathens are going to go into slavery for the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, building it up, after that first 1,000 years, the heathens outside of you Edomites are going to go back to their lands and live at peace under the laws, statutes, and commandments. Clean air, clean water, real food, and the family structure with the man at the head back in order. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Nature itself is going to rejoice at your downfall. Hey, they got that TV show, Axemen, where Esau, Edom just cuts down trees without abandon. And Esau, Edom treats this entire planet like a garbage can, as we've been going into with this video. But the whole creation is going to rejoice at the manifestation of the sons of God and the downfall of the wicked, you Edomites. But now I'm going to close it out in Revelation chapter 11, verse 18, because you Edomites, after that first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, have a special judgment coming your way. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, being spiritually dead, that they should be judged. And when you're spiritually dead, you don't know the ways of righteousness, which is for the majority of the people on this planet. And them being judged is what? These heathens going into that first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, learning the law, statutes, and commandments by force, and building up the kingdom of heaven. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, the elect of the nation of Israel, beginning with the 144,000 who are out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles online. They're going to get that reward of being the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven, to be at the very beginning, seeing it get built up. And then, after the wicked of our people are cut off on this side, they're going to be reborn righteous through the loins of the elect, with the laws, statutes, and commandments in them, as we're all going to be under the new covenant. Hey, all Israel shall be saved, as it says in Romans, I believe, chapter 11. But here's the main point. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth, the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of. After that first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, after you Edomites receive your judgment, your punishment, which is going to be double what the children of Israel received on this side. Hey, every single Edomite man, woman, and child, young and old, is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet by fire. Read Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. The house of Jacob for a flame, and the house of Joseph, for a flame, but the house of Esau for stubble. The entire nation of Esau, Edom, being taken off the planet. And as it said in Isaiah chapter 14, you're persecuted and none hindereth, and the whole earth is going to rejoice, because the wicked is finally going to be out of rulership for the rest of eternity, and righteousness under the laws, statutes, and commandments administered by the sons of God is going to reign supreme. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the wicked, the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.